topic is Jennifer Lopez again, but this time her producing partner, I think a Nuyorican, what is it called? Nuyorican Films, Nuyorican Production. So yeah, her producing partner, Elaine Goldsmith Thomas, is spilling tea in her new book about all the insidious sexual shenanigans that goes on in the industry. And child, some of the stuff she's spilling up in here, I gagged. So let's get into it. So Elaine Goldsmith Thomas has drawn from her years in show business to write about, in her debut novel, Climbing in Heels. I wonder if she's putting it in like nonfiction terms. Well, not nonfiction. Nonfiction is true. Fiction is not true. So in fictional terms, it's funny, I have to always remember that. Fictional terms, whereas you created characters that are based over certain celebrities, or you actually, having a sudden strike moment. Name them. Name them. Like, are you actually naming names? So the book was written by the former secretary turned executive that follows three young women working at one of Tinseltown's biggest talent agencies and some of its biggest stars, including Julia Roberts, Madonna, and Nicolas Cage. Goldsmith Thomas, who began her own career at the William Morris Agency in the early 80s, they said she was like a teenager when she worked there too, told Page Six it was like working in the Wild Wild West. She said, quote, people like Harvey Weinstein were not the anomaly. They were the norm. This is what she told the outlet. So, yeah, when people out here gagging over Harvey Weinstein, I said, oh, no, there's a lot more where that came from. Trust and believe. Now, details of the book include, and this is why I gagged. They said include a male assistant who is allowed to listen in on his boss while he is having sex with actresses auditioning for a role. Saying, quote, that was a story I had heard from a trainee who was, and not trainee as in what T.S. Madison be referring to, who was allowed to listen in as his boss. That was his bonus, his little treat. His boss let him listen in as he effed actresses. I am gagging over that. That ain't the only thing. Cheryl, she even spilled tea on Bill Cosby. She said the Cosby Show star threw a luncheon for all the William Morris secretaries to show his thanks for the success of the sitcom. Now, during a brief encounter, the Emmy winner asked about her future plans. She had recently graduated from college, and Goldsmith Thomas told the comic she would have to represent him one day. Saying, quote, later I got a call from an executive secretary on the first floor saying Mr. Cosby was very impressed by you and we're going to give you contracts to sign, bring them over to his hotel, the Beverly Wilshire. And I went into the bathroom. I was really excited getting ready. Oh my God, I feel seen. I felt really seen. And my friend who worked for the president of the agency happened to be there. I told her and she said, don't do it. I said, why? She said, don't do it. Now she didn't say anything bad would happen. There was just something about the way she said it that frightened me enough that I didn't go. Now, Cosby has been accused by some 60 women of drugging and R-wording them. So, girl, she saved your life. That's why she basically, told you, don't do it. And she listened. Now, he was convicted of aggravated indecent assault in 2018. The conviction was later overturned, and Cosby, who has denied all the allegations, was released in 2021. Now, writing the book made me look back. She recalled, revealing that when she was still fresh in the business, when agents in LA would have their secretaries send booger sugar cross country in something called the New York pouch that went back and forth to New York overnight. Saying sexual harassment is common in the workplace when the second act producer was still new in the business. Saying, quote, the guys in the mailroom, they'd go, hey, could I have a little kepi? Meaning, can I get a little bologna wash? As the slurpee, the sloppy toppy. I go, how can you ask me that? We're friends. And they go and say, well, if you don't ask, you don't get. Now, Lopez and her future producing partner met when they were both attending a performance of Cabaret, starring the late Natasha Richardson in 1998, and the two connected on a very visceral level. Now, they said together they have worked on more than a dozen projects together, including Hustlers, Kiss of the Spider Woman, which will be released in October, and Office Romance, which she is currently filming with Ted Lasso's Brett Goldstein. And I remember hearing stories that they were trying to say that Jennifer is out here, allegedly that's her new boo. I don't believe that. It's just they're working on a movie. I think it's a romantic comedy, which I don't know why she keeps sticking with those movies. But if that's what you want to do, then by all means. So, and he's from, I think I did say he's from Ted Lasso, right? So they said it was the hustle star who went. Now, for those of y'all wondering, she's not going behind Jennifer's back. In fact, Jennifer insisted that she write the book. She said, Jennifer is extraordinary because here's a dancer who became an actor, who became a singer, who became a global brand, who was probably one of the biggest stars on earth, and she's incredibly kind. This is what she said of her friend. She said, I felt when I worked with Jennifer that I had a partner. She put her shoulder next to mine and we pushed. It sounds funny, but the sky wasn't the limit. It was a resting place. So if y'all are interested, Climbing the Hills comes out on April 29th. And I think what's probably going to happen is Elaine is probably going to go on a lot of these book tours. She's probably going to have Jennifer on this tour with her because I think that their connection would probably help her sell this book. But here's the thing, I am a huge fan of salaciousness, especially what goes on in Hollywood. Well, hello, that's why y'all watch the show. So clearly, you know, that's how I kind of, I kind of reading. So I may actually have to get this book because I want to know what all else is doing. She's spilling up in there, and if she's spilling names, and or did she change the name to protect the innocent? Because I want to know what you're talking about. Like I'm gagging over the fact, but I'm not surprised though. When it was something like, yeah, there's an exec that goes literally sleeps with actresses for parts. So it's like, yeah, casting couches. How long? They've been around since like before speech replaced sound language. Having casting couches is nothing new. Now she's talking about it. So I say all this to say, what do you got? But sometimes I'll be looking at some of these actresses. I'll be like, I wonder which one of y'all spread y'all legs for an exec and didn't actually get the part because you got the talent to pull it off. You gave up the cookies. So I want to hear from y'all. What do you think of this story in regards to Jennifer's producer partner spilling a lot of Hollywood's inside tea in her new book? Whatever your thoughts are on this matter, let me know in the comments down below.